Hi, my name is Angela. In this video, I'm going to be talking about mid-year 2022, my experience. I'm currently a PGY2 ambulatory care resident. Just got back not too long ago, early in December. So I want to share what I did, what I learned for others who may be interested in knowing kind of what you can do in your second year, and especially highlighting the PPS or personal placement services that I did. So if you're interested in that, just keep on watching. So my first mid-year in person, I had two mid-year experiences virtually. This is my second time doing PPS, so my first time doing it in person. I did it last year for PGY2 programs virtually. This year was in Vegas, and it is the biggest meeting of pharmacists every year. Lots and lots of people were there. The organization ASHP coordinates it, and several other institutions, organizations, kind of go into that event, hosting and events or other booths and things like that. So the conference this year was from Saturday to Thursday, Sunday to Thursday. So I started there on Sunday with PPS interviews, and I actually stayed until about Wednesday. So talking about PPS, those are like mini pre-job interviews, no more than 30 minutes long. It's a chance to kind of have a one-stop shop for job searches, which can be kind of time-consuming to individually reach out to others and to go to a lot of different places. So this kind of keeps it all centralized, and it's easier for both the people, the employers and the employees. So I was looking for a mix of ambulatory care jobs and academia AmCare roles. So always having the AmCare clinical component, but kind of mixing up which position had more of a teaching component, which didn't. So I got on PPS early in November just to get my profile ready, put my CV on there, just so that my name was out there even before I had time to really dig in and look and see who would be there. Then I would say around Thanksgiving time, I spent a couple hours just looking at the programs, reaching out to those who I was interested in. Before then, people had reached out to me, so I kind of just started that process and got a little bit more communicative with them. This is something I wanted to bring up. I didn't do a big fancy introduction like I did with residency. I know that that's maybe something I should have done, but I just was like, hey, I'm Angela, I'm interested, would you interview me? And then we got to talking from there. There's more formal ways to do it, I just chose not to. So I had a total of 11 PPS interviews, which I was told was a lot. But I think it split up well. So if you're going to do PPS, try to split it up between your days if you can. So there was 3 I had on Sunday, 6 on Monday, that was my longest day, 2 on Tuesday, and I didn't have any on Wednesday. So it kind of had a good span of time. And then, I shook people's hand when it was a PPS interview since we were in person. I don't know if that was appropriate or not, but I also just told them, okay, this is my first time doing it in person, and they were very understanding. I worked up, and I have a separate video on that, I worked up the programs prior to interviewing with them and had those sheets ready and out when I was talking with them so I could remember my talking points. I had like a little folder where I could take notes. Also had my CVs printed with my business cards on like nice cardstock paper, because that's what I was told I should do. Don't know if that's actually what people still need, but I had those ready. Lots of the organizations said, okay, well, you have your CV, is it different than the one you posted online? And when I said no, they said, no, we don't need it. So like I said, 30 minutes long. There's a table outside of their screened booth where you go into your interview. So when you go up, let's say your interview's at 10:30 and you go up at, either 10:30 or 10:29, whatever, there'll be someone sitting at the table and they'll let you in once the other interview is over or the interviewer is ready for you. So there's all that separates you is a curtain. Also, all that separates you from the interview box next is a curtain. So it's kind of like makeshift interview place. Usually you're meeting with a hiring director. That's a lot of the people that I met with. Either it's an AmCare service line, or it's the head of a search committee for academia positions, or maybe it's just a staff pharmacist or faculty member, just to get another perspective. So I usually met with more than one individual, but about a third of them were just one person, like I said, either the hiring director or a staff pharmacist. Similar to PPS for residencies, they might give an overview of their organization, of the position, or they might just see what questions you have and you start in with questions about the position. So, you know, I think that I had plenty of questions ready, plenty meaning like 4. And sometimes I needed more, sometimes I didn't use all of them. You try to just go along with the conversation and make it conversational versus like scripted. I was told that some people might be interviewed in groups. I didn't have that, but it's probably more likely if I would have gone to bigger institutions that had more interviews to get through. I took notes, like I said, took their business cards, all the materials that they offered me, so keeping all that. And then the day of, I decided to write thank you cards just to not forget what I needed to say. And I was always told that in person, like handwritten thank you notes are the best way to say thanks. So I did that this year. Hope it got to the right people. But business cards, if you grab those, it helps to get that address. So it was stressful, but not that much different than residency interviews. I think that it's something that I would encourage people to think about. There's a cost associated with PPS, similar to what I talked about in a previous video. And you have to kind of say no to other things in the conference to do PPS. But, you know, it was a really good chance for me to just get to meet people from all over the country who I was interested in jobs without only having to step in and outside of the PPS room and to different booths. So other things that I did in mid-year as a PGY2 resident, gave a poster session was 1 hour. We had like 30 minutes beforehand to set up. All of the colleagues in my same organization, we were in the same row. I was next to my co-resident, so had about 4 or 5 people stop by within that hour. And then they also had mentors who were assigned certain things to ask you to review your poster. So ASHP had that available. We had to transport the posters, both mine and my co-resident's poster, on the plane and check it, so that's something you think about. And then we also used on our poster QR codes, so it was easier to see the references without having to write them all on the poster. So just something else I wanted to bring up. Probably the most enjoyable part of the conference was seeing past co-residents and past pharmacy student friends and just people I knew, just running into them. It was such a big conference, but I was surprised about how many people I saw who I knew. There was a School of Pharmacy reception for my School of Pharmacy one evening, so got to catch up with even more people I knew. It was fun going to, you know, explore the city. Also good to just be around like-minded people in your organization. So I really enjoyed mid-year and would recommend anyone to consider it. I also did some CE. There's plenty of CE opportunities. And then if you are part of a residency program going to mid-year, you will likely be responsible for doing a in-person residency showcase. And that was about 3 hours, and it was a little draining, but it was good. So otherwise, I think that there are opportunities in industry which I don't even understand that were there. There were, like I said, a lot more CE. You could give CE one day if that's somewhere you want to do it. But it was a great experience. I think that it's a lot for someone to take advantage of, so that's why I wanted to give a whole video about it and to talk about what my experience was as a PGY2 resident, searching for jobs, and also completing parts for my residency training. So that's all I have. If you guys have questions or want to know more information, just put them down in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, and share it with someone who you think it could be helpful for. And I will see you guys in the next video.